Okay, here's a thought.
Mm.
What if language wasn't just, for talking? What if it could literally shape reality? Like imagine words that could actually mend a bone or build a bridge or, I don't know, change history.
It's a powerful idea. I mean, language already shapes our reality in subtle ways, doesn't it? How we perceive things, how we categorize the world, even without actual magic.
Exactly. And that's kind of what we're diving into today. Welcome to the deep dive, everyone.
Yeah, we've got this fascinating stack of sources today, all centered around a world where translation is the magic. A world where an empire is quite literally built on silver bars engraved with words.
So our mission today is to unpack how all these threads, language, power, identity, get tangled up in this amazing setting. That's what a fantastical 1830s Oxford.
We'll be looking at the Royal Institute of Translation, this place called Babel, and the students there, and exploring how their story, set almost 2 centuries ago, might actually hit closer to home than you'd think. It might even make you, listen a bit differently to the words around you.
Right. Let's get into it. Because the setting itself is just brilliant. It's Oxford, 1830s. Very recognizable. You've got landmarks. The author clearly researched the United Debating Society, which came before the Oxford Union, the Ashmolean Museum. They even mentioned the dodo head there.
Right. Grounded in real history. But then there's the twist.
Yeah, this layer of magic running underneath it all. Silver working. It changes everything.
It really does. Oxford isn't just a university town here. It's the absolute center, the engine of a magical industry. And Babel, the Institute of Translation. That's the core.
And the building itself sounds amazing. Larger on the inside than it seems on the outside.
Yeah. Like a physical metaphor for what they're doing with language, right? Stretching meaning, bending reality. It's pretty clever.
Okay, so how does this silver working? How does it actually work? What's the mechanism?
Well, the basic idea is match pairs. You take 2 words from different languages. They mean similar things, but not quite the same. There's always a subtle difference, a nuance.
Like a slight distortion in meaning when you translate.
Exactly. And they engrave these pairs onto silver bars. Then a fluent native speaker, and this is key, they have to be truly fluent, like dream in the language fluent.
Wow.
They speak the words. And the silver somehow captures that distortion, that gap in meaning, and manifests it. It forces the world to conform just slightly to that linguistic difference.
So you're weaponizing the imperfections of translation.
Precisely. It's not just about knowing words, it's about living and breathing a language. They even developed a resonance links and a secret alphabet to make the connection stronger and keep it proprietary. Big secret, obviously.
Makes sense. Control the language, control the power.
And the magic's power, how long it lasts, it depends on the silver, how much silver, how pure it is. So there's a real material cost to this magic. It's not just waving a wand.
And the things they do with it, some are kind of amazing, some are, frankly, horrifying.
Yeah, there's a range.
Like boosting fishing yields, they use Greek caribous versus caravel.
Yeah.
Something about making ships luckier.
Yeah. Manipulating probability, essentially. Or creating those daguerreotypes magical photographs. That was apparently a huge sensation locally.
But then there's the really dark stuff. The use of Latin capital, meaning chattel, property basically, paired with cattle on iron chains used for enslaved people to make them docile. It's just chilling.
It absolutely is. It shows how this incredible power gets twisted for control and dehumanization. It's a raw look at the violence inherent in that system.
And they also use it for, like, construction, reinforcing buildings.
Yeah, even the Palace of Westminster, apparently, after the fire in 1834. So it's deeply embedded in the empire's infrastructure.
Which ties into the whole linguistic theory behind it, right? This idea that translation always involves some distortion.
Exactly. Professor Playfair in the source material gives great examples, like German Schlecht versus Schlimm. Both mean bad, but differently. Or French fleuve for a river flowing into the sea versus rivière for one flowing into another river.
Nuances we don't even have single words for in English sometimes.
Right. Or that Heine poem, Ein Fichtenbaum, about the pine tree and the palm tree. The gendered nouns give it a whole layer of meaning about yearning that just vanishes in English. So etymology becomes this kind of detective work, trying to trace a word back to its roots, its etymor in Greek, to find its true sense. It makes you think about how much is lost or changed, even in everyday translation.
Okay, let's bring in the main character, Robin Swift. His story starts pretty dramatically.
Yeah, he's orphaned in Canton, sick with cholera, and gets rescued, or maybe taken, by this Professor Lovell.
And right away, Empire makes its mark. His Chinese name is deemed unpronounceable, so Lovell just picks Robin Swift out of a nursery rhyme book.
Just like that. erasing one identity, imposing another. It's framed as practical, necessary for England, but the violence of it is there from the start.
And his upbringing in London, in Hampstead, it sounds intense.
Oh, yeah. Rigorous training. Not just speaking English, but getting into its roots and skeletons, learning to manipulate it. He's being groomed, basically. For Babel. And he's overhearing all these intellectual discussions Lovell has about classics, but also about politics, Canton, Afghanistan. The empire's business is always in the background. He's absorbing it all.
So then he gets to Oxford University College, and he meets Rami.
Ramiz Mirza, from Calcutta. And there's this instant connection. The source describes Rami as visibly other, and they bond over that shared feeling of being outsiders, strangers.
Even down to agreeing scones are better without sultanas.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the small things right
Absolutely. It's finding that common ground in an alien place. And their group grows. Victoire from Haiti joins them, and Letty from England.
Letty, whose brother died at Oxford under mysterious circumstances, wasn't it?
Yeah, a tragedy that hangs over her. So this cohort forms Robin, Rami, Victoire, Letty. They become incredibly close, a found family.
They argue about books and money and politics, like the supposed benefits of the British presence in India.
Right. But underneath, there's this fierce loyalty. Their shared otherness, as you said, creates this bond that sets them apart from the older, aggressively insular students. It's their shield, in a way.
Which they definitely need, because Babel itself, its purpose is pretty blatant, isn't it?
Oh, completely. The source is clear. Founded in the 17th century, moved to Oxford specifically, to train young lads to speak the languages of the colonies the Spanish had just lost. Its colonial infrastructure, plain and simple.
Wow. Just laid out like that.
Professor Lovell even quotes Antonio de Nebrita saying, language was always the companion of empire. It's the official philosophy.
And this silver industrial revolution it fuels.
A term from Peter Gaskell, It makes Britain incredibly wealthy, or rather makes the already wealthy wealthier. But the flip side...
recession, poverty, displaced workers.
Exactly. A widening gap between rich and poor, terrible factory conditions. Blake's dark satanic mills, it's that classic story. Technological leap forward, but the benefits aren't shared, and many people suffer. Progress for whom?
Right. Which sets the stage for resistance. And that brings us to Hermes.
The Hermes Society, this anti-colonial secret group led by Surprise, Robin's half-brother, Griffin.
Whom he didn't know existed. Another shock for Robin.
Right, and Robin gets pulled in, initially kind of forced into helping steal things, Grammatica pages or orthography charts, for this mysterious revolution Griffin is planning.
You can just feel Robin being torn.
Totally. And Griffin's ideology is compelling in a way. He says, history isn't a pre-made tapestry. We can form it, make it. He thinks violence is the only way to disrupt the empire's extractive economy.
Because the empire has a lot more to lose.
Precisely. Which throws Robin into this huge moral crisis. Stay loyal to Babel, the place he's starting to maybe feel some belonging, or join this dangerous rebellion against a system that basically owns him.
And then comes the big personal blow. He finds out about his own father.
Yeah, Professor Lovell. He discovers letters from Jardine and Matheson, the big trading company, detailing plans for the Opium War. Using Chinese silver, Robin's heritage, to make British warships faster, guns more accurate, to attack China.
Just devastating. And Lovell's racism is laid bare, too, calling Robin's mother just some chink.
Yeah, and saying he wants to mold Robin into a more elevated caste than his brother Griffin. It's brutal. Any illusions Robin had about Lovell, about Babel being purely about knowledge, they just shatter.
But the rebellion has its dark side, too, doesn't it? We'll learn about Evie Brooke.
Ah, yes. A chilling moment. Griffin murdered her, used a silver bar. The Mandarin word bao, meaning fire, violence, turbulence, translated against the tamest English translation possible, burst.
So he weaponized the ambiguity of translation for murder.
Exactly. It shows the terrifying potential of this magic when morality goes out the window. Violence breeding violence. It forces Robin to confront the cost of rebellion, too. He feels like he has two hearts, betraying both sides in a way.
And this tears the cohort apart, right?
Right.
Rami and Victoire get involved with Hermes, too.
They do. Through Anthony Ribbon, another student they thought was dead. Turns out he faked his death to work for Hermes. So Rami and Victor join, but they don't tell Robin because he hadn't told them about his involvement with Griffin for 3 years.
Oh, the secrets and lies.
It leads to this huge, furious confrontation. That trust they had, it just fractures.
And they all end up going to Canton, right?
Yeah.
Just as things are getting really tense over there.
Yeah, the Opium War is looming. Chinese forces are cracking down on merchants. There's anti-British sentiment. And for Robin, returning to his motherland, it's not a homecoming.
No.
He feels nothing but severance. His old house is gone, replaced by an opium den. He encounters this exhibit, the Chinese lady at a Chinese saloon, this exoticized, objectified version of his own culture. It just highlights how disconnected he is, caught between worlds.
So the pressure keeps building. What's the Hermes plan now?
They need to stop the war. Their idea is to convince Parliament and the British public it's not in their interest. And their weapon, a strike.
A strike.
Shut down Babel, stop all silver working, cut off the magic the empire depends on.
Whoa. What would that actually do?
Chaos. They distribute pamphlets using Greek polemikos for polemic, Latin discutere for discuss, very clever warning London. Roads will collapse, water will stop flowing, food will rot, ships will sink.
Like the 10 plagues.
Pretty much. It reveals just how utterly dependent London's infrastructure, its economy, textiles, agriculture, everything, is on this stolen magic, powered by silver from the colonies.
And how does the public react to the scholars doing this?
Predictably, perhaps. The media instantly frames them not as Oxfordians, but as foreigners, dangerous outsiders. It shows how quickly that sense of us versus them, that definition of Englishness, snaps into place when the system feels threatened.
But the violence, it keeps escalating, doesn't it? Letty can't handle it.
No. The blackmail, the kidnapping, the rioting, it's too much for her. She feels they've lost their way, so she tries to negotiate. She betrays the group to the authorities.
Which leads to tragedy.
Utter tragedy. In the chaos, Rami is killed by Letty. Accidentally, perhaps, during a struggle, but killed nonetheless.
Oh, no.
And it doesn't stop there. Griffin confronts Professor Lovell's associate, Sterling. There's this whole backstory of desire, resentment, jealousy, and hatred between them, and they basically kill each other.
So Robin and Victoire are left alone after all that.
Just them, amidst the wreckage of their friendships and their revolution.
What do they do? What's left?
Well, Griffin had said it had to be the tower all along, the source of the power. And Victoire, she's resolute. They decide Babel has to fall.
Destroy it completely.
Yeah. Yes. They gather hundreds of silver bars, arrange them carefully at weak points in the tower structure, designed to cause maximum damage, make it unsalvageable. A final act of defiance.
It's described as a clumsy, silly clash of the abstract and the material. These scholars facing the physical reality of destruction.
Yeah. And Babel, this symbol of imperial might, it just crumbles. As simply and cleanly as a sandcastle kicked at the base. And without its magic, Oxford itself starts to rot, its dependence laid bare.
Who actually carries out the destruction?
Robin and Victoire, helped by the few remaining allies, Professor Kraft, Professor Chakravarty, some other students of color, a coalition of the exploited, essentially, bringing down the system.
And Victoire escapes.
She does, with an envelope from Anthony Ribbon containing advice and contact names in Mauritius, Seychelles, Paris, Ireland. Places to continue the fight, perhaps. Her future is described as one of immeasurable cruelty, but also hope.
Wow, what a story. So pulling back, what are the big takeaways for us listening to this deep dive?
Well, we've journeyed through this world where translation literally moves power, shapes economies, defines lives. It's fantastical, yes, but that Oxford, built on silverworking, it holds up a mirror to our own history of colonialism. It forces you to ask about the real costs of knowledge, of progress. Who pays?
Yeah, and it makes you think, how often does language in our world work like that? Maybe less obviously. Shaping perceptions, defining who's in and who's out, serving power structures we don't even see.
Absolutely. Think about political rhetoric, advertising, the way history gets written. The framing of words is constantly shaping our reality, even without magic silver bars. It's a constant negotiation of meaning and power.
And that final thought from the source material is so striking. Colonialism is built to destroy that which it prizes most.
Right. The irony is just staggering. The British Empire in this story needs the languages, the cultures, the very people it's exploiting to fuel its magic, its dominance.
So it's set up to devour its own foundations.
Pretty much. It raises that question. What happens when a system is so geared towards expansion that it ends up destroying the very things it relies on? And maybe for us, what's our responsibility? As people who use language, who consume knowledge, Do we think about where it came from, how it was shaped, who was silenced in the process?
That is definitely something to mull over. A lot to think about there.